Okay, so we've got our SeekBox all ready to plug into the TV. Simple case of using the supplied USB-C cable, plug that into the power there, plug it into the mains, connect it up via HDMI, and we are good to go. But genuine question this, like I notice now a lot of companies, an awful lot of them, have started putting the HDMI upside down from the way it's always been for years. And I've noticed this like quite a few times now. Obviously it doesn't actually matter. I'm just wondering why people have started doing this. Is it something that somebody started once and other people think, oh, we'll follow that trend, that's a bit weird, but we'll copy it. And everyone has now started putting the HDMIs upside down from the way it was before. Small thing, just wondering. But before we plug it in, let's go over these specs quick. We've got a Android 11 system, Bluetooth 5.0, uses Wi-Fi 6, has 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of normal memory, and is capable of 4K 60 Hz. So yeah, let's plug it in. Right, so there it is on the side here. It's a very, very small device. So let's get it plugged in and see what happens. Let's plug in the USB-C to the back. Change the channel. Wow. Just booting up now. This is our front end. Pairing of Bluetooth remote control. Press the buttons on the remote. Let's do that now. Right, so we have to pair the Bluetooth remote control. Press the back button and microphone button at the same time. So they're in a slightly different place to each other. That's the microphone button there, and the back button is down there. So we have to press them two at the same time for some seconds. That was some seconds. Bluetooth remote pairing after some seconds, successful. Well, now we get to do our language. I've just selected English. Obviously you select your own language. Scale, 100%. How does this work? Oh, I see. You can actually make it larger or smaller. The idea is to fit this to your screen exactly. Should be okay on 100. Yeah, 100's bang on, so that's good. No need to change that. Right, once you've finished that initial setup procedure, very quick and straightforward, you can put in your Wi-Fi address or hook it up via Ethernet. We can have a little loading screen, and after that, we are going to be absolutely good to go. Okay, once it's all updated, this is our front end. It's a very, very tidy front end. I do actually like the way this looks, but this is a Android TV box, and as with any Android TV box, it's up to you what you download and use. I'm only reviewing the actual hardware, the software, and how responsive it is, and things like that. Okay, so now let's talk about the remote ever so briefly. It's a good remote. I wouldn't say it's perfect though, because it is missing one small thing, which I think would have made it just so much better. Now, the remote itself is actually quite nice. It fits in the hand very, very nicely, and most of the buttons are in a logical place. Volume is where you'd expect it. Channel up and down is where you'd expect it, and it's got a numbered keypad as well. As well as that, it's got a microphone button. This is used for voice searching. So if you want to search for something, like you've got YouTube installed, for example, you can press the button down, search whatever you want by speaking into the remote, and it's a much, much quicker way of searching. That is really, really cool. The only thing it's lacking for me is a backlit function. That may sound small, but a lot of people use these or watch YouTube, whatever, with the light off at night, so it gives you a nice cinematic experience, and it is a lot better for me if the remote is backlit. Even though most of the controls are easy to reach and accessible because it's logical where they are, it's still nice when you're pressing certain buttons to be able to just touch a button and then the backlight comes in and then you can actually see what you're pressing. But this doesn't have a backlight, so you're gonna have to do all that sort of stuff in the dark. But responsiveness is very, very quick and responsive. This is really, really nice. The buttons are premium feeling. It doesn't feel like one of those horrible cheap remotes where when you click the buttons it feels like really clicky and horrible. It's got a nice, soft but firm kind of feel about it, if you know what I mean. So it's actually really nice to use. I actually enjoy pressing the buttons on this, but it's just a funny thing to say, but true. And you got like you can go to a favourites section there. You can add apps to your favourite list for fast and easy access. You can check your settings, network. You can add hotkeys for instant access to things as well. You can do a memory cleanup, which is nice because when you've downloaded a few things and got rid of a few things as well again or whatever, you can actually do the memory cleanup and clear up space, which is basically unused stuff, which is clogging up the memory and eventually going to slow the system down. So that is a really nice touch. So overall, very responsive, like the remote. The actual unit is very well built. It's super compact. I love how small it is. Some of these boxes are a little bit big and a little bit lacking in style, but this is very neat, it's very compact, and it's just a tiny little thing which sits on your side, and because it's an Android box, you can do an awful lot of things with it, which is absolutely cool. So yeah, there it is, the SeekBox S3 Pro. Android boxes, you can do so much with them, it's nuts. You can put your own files on there, you can look at your own photos, put your own videos on there, you can hook up to your YouTube account and other accounts too, and do it all from this one place with a really nice and responsive box, and the software seems very responsive and fast too. But there it is, there's the video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button, it really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. Catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.